right, welcome, folks. If you're tuning in on YouTube, we're probably live already. Just waiting for this to populate as live on Facebook, and we'll get started. So, welcome in. And if you know anyone dealing with metabolic health issues or anyone wanting to make extra money, like this is the live for you. What better way to make extra money besides helping people get healthy, right? So it says we are now live on Facebook, so we can get going here.
It's
Greg,
official.
welcome. Good to see you again tonight. I'm
man.
excited. I think we're getting some people kind of interested in what we've been talking about here. These, on Sunday and then tonight. And if you're coming in to this on Facebook and you don't mind, tag 3 people you know in the comments. Just and share this to your page. Tag people you know that may be struggling with metabolic health, diabetes, high cholesterol, obesity, PCOS, et cetera, et cetera. Because we're going to be talking about an all-natural protocol that helps reverse those things, helps a lot of people get off medication. And we're also going to be talking about a financial side of this, where you can make income sharing your story, sharing people that you know's story about changing their life. So, Greg, how are you this evening?
I'm doing really well. I want to point something out here that I'm just looking at. If I zoom in here a little bit.
Yeah, I actually saved that picture today so I could show it. So I'm glad you popped it up there.
Talk about that. How in the world does a guy who's probably most of my adult pictures, I'm not as thin as I am now, and there's a lot of inflammation. There's 30 extra pounds of weight there. And it's this protocol, man.
Yeah, it's amazing. If I could pop up my before and after real quick and show people, I gotta find it. I'm not prepared. I didn't know we were diving right into.
Well, we're not. So you find it there, but while you're looking for that, folks, my name's Greg. This is Jeff. And we're going to be talking about the protocol that made him turn in from the ornery guy to the happy guy. And look at the difference there. That is what I call 1980s Rexall protocol, but it's a couple packets that you put in some water and you drink down and you structure your food just right. We're going to talk about that, how it works. We're going to talk about how it changed our lives. We're going to talk about how it changed other people's lives. We're going to talk about how a lot of people actually can get out of debt. You don't think about that from a health standpoint, but the company that manufactured this knows that the best way for this to spread is by me telling my story so that he finds out about it. And then he's like, wow, 90-day money back guarantee. This guy's got results. I'm having those problems. Why don't I try this? And then I'm talking about Jeff here. He got the results he's going to talk about tonight. And you can too. It's phenomenal. In addition to that, we've done a whole lot of traveling. We've made, I'm just speaking in broad terms here, but we've built recurring income stream from something that everybody needs. Now, when I say everybody, how can I speak so broadly? If you look at the population and then you look at the people who are suffering from insulin resistant symptoms, it's most of us. And Jeff, I know just Jeff alone has got a long list of people who got amazing results. I've got a long list of people who got amazing results. How can we build an income working from home, having the freedom to travel around the world, having the freedom to help people? And for me, I moved to Florida. I'm semi-retired. I work this business, but I do what I want to do. I didn't used to have that kind of freedom. Jeff, what about you? You're coming from a different perspective than I am. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so I was dealing with type 2 diabetes for 20 years, had horrible neuropathy pain just like you. Started this protocol and was getting amazing results. And I think about the beginning of the 3rd month on this, I reached out to you and was like, is there a way to sell this? Can I get involved in the business side of this? Because this stuff's amazing. I was just having such amazing results. My neuropathy was better. I was losing weight. My blood sugar was coming down. And now, and the amount of time I've been doing this, I've been stashing all of it away. I've been able to pay off my house. Uh, and I'm hoping to maybe get out of this 12-hour a day oil field full-time job, within the next few months, hopefully. And that's something that I know there's people out there that they aren't going to say it, but they hate their job, right? Or they hate their hours, or they hate having to ask for time off, or they don't get along with their coworkers, something, right? Or they're just not making enough money. They're working 40 plus hours, and they're still struggling to make ends meet, paycheck to paycheck living, which so many of us have done, and so many are still doing. So I,
And
uh,
I
it,
think
it,
you're the perfect example of what so many people need to understand. They can use the protocol, they can reverse type 2 diabetes like you did. They can help other people find it, and then they can literally pay off their house working part-time. Like who doesn't need to do that?
yeah, exactly. That was eye-opening for me when I was able to do that. And I always tell people say, "Well, I don't know a lot of people." Folks, just go to your next family reunion or your high school reunion or, some of your kids' sporting events and look around. Everybody is struggling with insulin resistance. Just nobody knows about it.
Neighbors,
Everybody
churches,
just thinks it's
coworkers.
Yeah, yeah, everybody just thinks it's part of getting older. We're gonna be on these meds for the rest of our lives. We gotta, do what the doctors tell us, and I'm not telling anybody to go against your doctor. We recommend everyone, if you're taking this protocol, keep taking your medication, but work with your doctor. That should be the goal of everybody, is to get off medication, not just manage symptoms and live on it the rest of their life. And that's how you can make a reoccurring income, is by sharing it with other people. And so we're going to get into that a little bit tonight too. But Greg, is there anything else you wanted to say?
Yeah, folks, if you're listening right now, welcome. We're glad to have you. Put in the comments right now if you have type 2 diabetes, if you have neuropathy pain, if your family checks out from heart disease, heart attacks, things like that. If you have gut health problems, if you have insulin resistance and you already know it, if you have metabolic function problems, put that in the comments right now. We want to see that rolling through here. We want to know who's focused on what we're saying.
Oh, yeah.
Separately from that, those of you that think, wow, if you're saying that I could actually build a residual income, something that I legally could leave for the next generation, for my kids, for my grandkids, what's the number that would make an impact for you on a monthly basis? Is it $1,500? Is it $2,000? Is it $6,000? 10,000? What's the number where you're like, wow, that would make an impact in my life? Folks, everybody in the world is going to know the name of this protocol because it reverses type 2 diabetes by focusing on the root cause, the insulin resistance. So if you're thinking, I don't have a plan to retire, I'm going to work till the day I die because I don't know what to do and I don't have enough money. We're living proof. This is the solution. If you don't have a better plan, from a protocol standpoint or from a some kind of work from home, build residual income so that you can have recurring income. Understand, I don't have to work all the time, but the money I've built up comes in every month, and it just keeps coming.
Yeah.
Jeff, let me throw it back in your lap. Talk to these people about what the protocol is, how can they make money at it, how do they get to do this, how do they get paid? Give them some details.
All right. So I'm going to pull up a screen share presentation here to show you folks, just so you can see what we're talking about. And we'll see here. I don't know if I probably want that to go full screen. So if you want to have a big business, first uh, you got to fix a big problem. And insulin resistance is one of the biggest problems in the world today. I've heard it said that it was the pandemic you were never told about, right? Because more than 93% of American adults are insulin resistant and they don't even know it, because The doctors are chasing the numbers, right? They're chasing the blood pressure, the blood sugar, the A1C, the cholesterol, and they're writing medication or prescriptions for medications for all of those symptoms. And what we finally learned and what we try to educate people on, that all of these problems are tied directly to insulin resistance. But your body starts giving you warning signs that something's wrong before you may come, may be diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, or before you're diagnosed with heart disease or fatty liver or neuropathy or whatever it may be. Those signs could be something as little as frequent urination at night, or maybe hunger, especially after you've just had a meal and then hour later you feel hungry again, tired after eating. How many people have been there, right? Where you just you feel like after you eat, you need a nap, right? Thanksgiving's coming. That usually happens at Thanksgiving, but for people who are insulin resistance, it happens all the time. Where your blood sugar crashes and you need a nap. But other things like cravings for sugary and salty food, um, maybe skin tags or dark skin pigmentation, or how about adult acne or eczema or psoriasis? How about the joint pain? Do you wake up in the morning and you hurt? You know that's from inflammation in the body. Chronic inflammation is another sign. And you can see in this picture on the right, these are all the signs that your body's going to give you. And it could take up to 10 years before these serious problems show up in your blood work, in your lipid panel, but you've been dealing with insulin resistance under the surface for years. And it could manifest in you as pre-diabetic or type 2 diabetic. It could be PCOS, which is the number one cause of infertility in women. How about heart disease? Like Greg was saying, how many people in your families have died from heart attacks or strokes or had to have a stent or whatever it may be? High blood pressure, hypertension. Do you have the brain fog? Do you know that is leading to dementia and Alzheimer's down the road? How about the migraine headaches, the joint pain, the inflammation, erectile dysfunction, neuropathy? My neuropathy was so bad, folks, I was getting injections between my toes so I could be on my feet and go to work every day. I don't recommend that. I don't want anybody to get in that position. So if you're dealing with two or more of these symptoms, you're probably insulin resistant. Okay. And you have to do something about it. Now, our solution is clinically proven. It's been validated by more than 20 clinical studies. In fact, it's HSA and FSA qualified. So if you have that through your insurance or your employer, you can use that to pay for this protocol. These are listed in the physician's desk reference as a nutraceutical. And to be listed in that, the PDR.net as a nutraceutical, you have to have the clinical data to prove that these work as good as and sometimes better than medication. These products are available in over 50 countries. They're patented. They can't be copied. You'll never find these on the store shelf because Rexall Pharmacy that designed this tried that in the early 90s. And people would walk by it and buy the names they've heard, the Metamucil, the Benefiber. But don't mistake this for a single source fiber. This is way more than that. Also, these products are guaranteed. You can try this 90 days with a money back guarantee. And here's what it is. One product that we take while we're fasting, while we're trying to abstain from food, right? It's called Unimate. It's an extract of yerba mate. And this is the highest concentrated form of that on the planet. Now, what that does is it increases your mood, your cognitive brain function, your energy. It helps regulate your blood pressure. It's a novel insulin sensitizer. It mimics metformin without side effects. It increases ketone production, which is fat burning. And it also increases the hormone GLP-1 that your body naturally makes. But do you know if you're insulin resistant, that inhibits the production of GLP-1 in the body? Okay. So and then the other product is a fiber supplement that we take before our largest or carb heaviest meal. Both of these you mix in water. The Unimate, the yerba mate extract, you chug. The yerba mate extract you sip throughout your morning and afternoon. and the fiber supplement you chug right before your meal. Now, if you look at this picture top right, it says fat storing and damage. So when you're insulin resistant and you eat food, and if you're eating 4, 5, 6 times a day, and I'm not talking about full meals, I'm talking just snacks, even if you think they're healthy snacks, your blood sugar is going to spike. 100% of the time, if you're, unless you're type 1 diabetic, your insulin is going to spike to stop the blood sugar spike. But what happens is the blood sugar crashes and the insulin takes 3, 4, 5 hours to come back down to normal range. Well, in that time, we feel hungry and tired, so we eat again. And if you do that over and over every day, month after month, year after year, your insulin ends up at a chronically high insulin level. It's called hyperinsulinemia. And when you're at that stage, your body will never burn fat for fuel. I don't care how much working out you do. I don't care how many calories you count or anything like that. If the insulin's high, the fat is locked away. If insulin's low, the fat will go. So if you look at the bottom picture, this is taking these products. In fact, taking the balanced fiber product right before your meal, you'll notice a lot lower blood sugar spike, therefore a lot lower insulin spike, and you don't have the crash, you don't have the cravings and all those things. And this costs you about $5.33 a day, less than most Starbucks coffees, less than 3 Pepsis. So if you skip breakfast, just skipping a meal will pay for this product. Okay. So we not only skip breakfast, but we cut out the snacks in between meals because the Unimate curbs the cravings. It keeps you satiated. You're not wanting those snacks. Now the difference is the medical industry, their solution, which is kind of the status quo, is if you have high cholesterol and high triglycerides, they're going to prescribe you a statin. If you're, and this was me 22 years ago now, when I left the doctor's office, the first day I found out I was diabetic, I left with 500 milligrams of metformin. Okay. And they'll just keep increasing that dosage until it no longer works. And then they'll put you on one of the shots, the Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, or they'll put you on insulin. And if you're someone who's struggling with your weight and you don't want to take the injections, well, you can also go the bariatric surgery route. All of these have side effects. Our 2 products have 0 side effects. They're all natural. And they're listed in that physician's desk reference. Greg, can I ask you, why is the physician's desk reference or the PDR such a big deal? Why do you think?
Well, if we go back in time, the doctors would have this medical Bible of sorts that would sit on their desk, and that was the PDR. Back then it was called the physician's desk reference because it was literally a book on their desk. Over time, they've changed the physician's desk reference to the prescriber's digital reference. Digital meaning it's digital now. You don't actually have to have that big book taking up space on your desk. And prescriber instead of physician, because now it's not just physicians that can prescribe. There are other scenarios where someone with a designation other than a doctor can prescribe. So they've modified that. But it's not easy. There's a lot of hoops you've got to jump through to qualify to get into the PDR. Interestingly enough, if someone was to look at a Metamucil or a Benefiber or a Citracel, which is the fiber products that people probably know off the top of their head, you'll find that those are not in the PDR. Interestingly enough, this protocol is in the PDR. Now, what stands out to me? Because you can't compare the two. One is a single source fiber, the other is a diverse blend of fibers. And then we're not even talking about just fiber. There's a whole lot more that goes into this protocol than just the simplicity of a single source fiber. So that's what the PDR is. That's why it's relevant. And that's why we want people to know this product's in there. You literally could go sit down with your medical professional, say, hey, I've got a new blood test. This is what it looks like. And this is what I've been doing for the last 60 to 90 days. And their jaw is going to drop. And you're going to find a whole different perspective from your medical professional, because now they're looking at something outside of what they typically prescribe that they witnessed work for you, because they're looking at your current blood work and they're looking at what you probably did a year ago. And what did that look like for you, Jeff? The year before blood work versus after. What did your doc
So,
say?
so when I was at the October of 2022, my A1C was 9.4. I was on max dosage of metformin and Januvia and was prescribed Trulicity. I was on gabapentin and getting injections for neuropathy pain, 25 milligrams of of lisinopril for high blood pressure, stage 1 kidney failure, and 312 pounds. In 1 month, the doctor told me get off the blood pressure meds because it's going to drop too low. And in 90 days, my A1C went from 9.4 to 6. In 5 months, I was down to 5.4, and my neuropathy pain was 50 to 60% gone in 5 months. And I had lost 50 pounds, maybe 45 to 50 pounds at that time by not dieting. And now my A1C is 5.2. I'm down like 72, 74 pounds, kind of fluctuates. I went from a 42-inch waist jean to a 36, and I feel amazing at 54 compared to what I did in my 40s.
It's I want everyone listening to understand what we're saying. Some of you need to get on the protocol. We're not pulling any punches. You don't have a better plan. There's a 90-day money back guarantee. You need to just get on the protocol and follow it the way it's designed. But there's another segment of you all who know a lot of people who are hurting, who are suffering, who don't have a way out. They're trapped, like Jeff was trapped, like I was trapped. My feet were burning. It was getting worse and worse over a number of years. My family's dying off from heart attacks. I don't have a better plan. This needs to be told to everyone. Let them make the decision for themselves. Don't try selling anything to anybody, but expose them to the model you've just stumbled onto, which is me and Jeff are doing the explaining. We're telling the stories. We're giving the information. Your coworker could listen to me and Jeff, and you could be building a residual income that, in Jeff's case, literally paid off his house in a couple years.
Right. 20 years early, as a matter of fact.
Just
But
a couple decades quicker than you thought it might.
yeah, what I would like right now is if you're in this live, you're listening, don't exaggerate, but just so people don't think it's just me and Greg on here blowing smoke, like if you've been using this product and you've had measurable results, just put it in the chat, like what it's done for you. Because I would love to go back through later and read some of these comments. But and here's the thing, folks, if you don't want to be in the business, that's fine. But there is a way that you can still refer people and make money, and or get a credit so your product costs you less,
That's
right?
right.
So we want to explain that now. So there's two ways you can refer with this. You can refer as a customer or as a business partner. Greg, do you want to explain this part?
I sure can. So when you decide that you're going to use the protocol, you follow it exactly the way it's designed, and you think to yourself, you know what? I work with Bob every day. I can see Bob has health problems. Bob's told me he's a type 2 diabetic or whatever Bob's problems may be. If Bob chooses to use the protocol, the manufacturer is saying, hey, we just want to give you some thank you money each month. So they're going to give you between $20 and $25 a month every single month that Bob chooses to purchase the protocol. You're going to have a link, but that link is from the manufacturer. They're not coming to you. They're just clicking on a link that you give them so that they're going through a doorway, so to speak, that takes them to the manufacturer so that when they purchase, it's going to generate that commission because you're a partner in that situation. Now, Bob's not a partner. Bob's just using the protocol. In fact, Bob hasn't even received the protocol yet. He's waiting for it to arrive, and he's so excited, he tells his sister Sue. So when Sue gets started, she generates a $10 store credit for Bob. So the price of Bob's protocol monthly just went down by $10 per month, every month, as long as Sue uses it. It's just a store credit. You know, you can't go spend it on anything else, but the price of the protocol goes down. Now, Sue, she's excited. She tells her coworkers, Joe and Jill. They both say, well, heck yeah, if it's something that you're using, we're going to use it as well. Sure enough, Sue's getting a $10 credit from Joe and a $10 credit from Jill, so that her monthly cost of the protocol goes down by $10 for Joe and $10 for Jill. $20 a month credit for every month into the future, as long as Joe and Jill continue using the protocol. Now, if you ask Jeff, Jeff here is going to tell you he isn't ever going to stop using the protocol because nothing else for 20 some years was able to get rid of his type 2 diabetes. And he used this protocol exactly the way it's designed. So what do you think the likelihood is, Jeff, in your experience, that all of those people in that diagram are highly likely to continue using the protocol?
As long as they follow it consistently and the way it's designed, and they're going to see results. And most people, I would say more than 90% stay on the product. Now there are some that, you know, they hit their goal and they stop using it, but then they get back on it a few months later because they didn't really change their lifestyle. So the likelihood of people staying on it is very high.
Yeah.
And when you're sharing it with others and saving money, or as a franchise owner, business partner making money, why wouldn't you stay on it? I mean, it's a no-brainer to me.
And one last question I want to pose to you. I haven't thought about this before. You told your friend Jojo.
Yes.
You had amazing results, and you told your friend Jojo, who also had amazing results. How does that make you feel? I mean, you are personally tied to that guy's health results.
Yeah, we're talking about this guy right here who was 407 pounds and lost 162 pounds in 13 months. And three months into the protocol, he decided to become a business partner because he's like, if this is going to work for me, it'll work for anyone. Because he was 407 pounds and sits behind a desk 12 hours a day. And just knowing that, and the messages we get every day from people of just, hey, I lost another 5 pounds, or hey, my doctor lowered my blood pressure medicine again, or there's nothing better than that. You know, the money's nice, but when you're helping people have a better quality of life, that means more than anything. So, and understand, folks, like if you decide to do this, if you're looking for a way to make extra money, I'm going to walk you through like what you get if you decide to do this. But understand, we're here to help you. We don't make money until we help you make money. And you're on the same compensation uh, scale, same compensation plan that we are, right? So if you decide, hey, you know, I could use some extra money and I definitely need to get my health under control. What's this cost? So I told you the product is $159 a month, about $5.33 a day. It's cost neutral because we skip breakfast. We try to cut out the snacks, the sugary drinks, those sorts of things. The Unimate and the Balance help make that easier. Now, if you want to look at this from the business side, well, we run this on a 10 customer business model. And when you decide to start this, it's $1,549. Retail, it's like $2,300. Or if you was just to buy 10 monthly sets, that would be $1,700. So you're getting 10 for the price of 9. Okay. So you will get 10 Feel Great sets for that $1,549. Now our job is to help you try to sell those 10 boxes, not for you to use them, for you to sell them and have those testimonies of people you work with that are in your family, that your kids go to school, you know, the parents of your kids' school friends, your church acquaintances, whatever, that you sell these to. They're going to be your walking, talking billboards. People are going to start asking them what they're doing. And that's how this spreads. So our job is, if you decide to sign up as a business partner, we're going to try to help you sell your 10-pack and recoup your investment as quick as possible. Some people have done it in a week. Some people have done it before their 10-pack ever even arrived, pre-sold their 10 boxes, and their business was paid for basically by someone else, right? Now, for that $15.49, you're not just getting the 10 Feel Great sets and the mentoring from us to help you sell those. The company, Unicity, is going to give you a custom referral link that works in 60 different countries around the world. Okay. That's why so many people use social media for this. But don't think social media is the only way to do it, because there are people building big businesses without social media. The company fulfills all the shipping at scale, right? They handle all of it. You don't have to inventory any product. You don't have to ship any product. The company handles all that. They give you your own website. They give you your own back office so you can keep track of all your customers and partners. They handle all the customer service, all the HR issues. That's all handled by the company. We are going to make sure that you get a system that works, right? We're going to show you how to do this, how to copy exactly what we're doing to be successful. You're going to get product and business mentoring. You're going to get weekly training calls, a private training academy. So this academy, if you go in here, once you become a business partner, you go in here, there's 10 modules. It's going to walk you through exactly how to sell your 10-pack, exactly how to invite people to be a customer, how to make social media content if that's what you want to do. There's testimonials in here. There's live call replays. It's all available to you at no upcharge. Okay. We're not selling you no course. We're not selling you an ebook or some pipe dream. If you follow that academy, the people who follow that academy are the people winning in this business.
Everything that Jeff and I have learned is in that academy. We didn't know any of this stuff. We were a mess. That academy, you know, when I owned a motel, when I owned an internet marketing firm, when I owned rental properties, nobody built an academy to show me how to do all of that, Jeff. You just figured it out, and most people fail when they go into business for themselves.
Yeah.
Everything we do is in there.
Yeah. And when we started, this wasn't available. This wasn't there. We was just told, you know, study insulin resistance, do your research, make content, talk to people, etc. Now it's laid out step by step how to be successful in this business. It's just, are you willing to take the action to do it? And what I've learned is people have to be kind of tired of being stuck where they're at, right? When you have a boss or you're trading time for money, you're kind of limited. You're limited because of the pay scale. You're limited because how many hours you can work, and you're at their mercy. If they schedule you to work, or if you're on the clock, like, that's what you make. And the only way you're going to make more is spend more time away from your family and work the overtime, work the holidays, work the weekends, right? With this, I mean, you have no boss. You have no schedule. You can work from anywhere in the world, basically. I do 95% of my business from this thing right here that we all have in our hands 24/7. You don't have to ship product, handle product, inventory product. You don't have to worry about the HR and the insurance issues and all the employees, or none of that. And you can scale this however big you want, because everybody has the ability to sub-franchise and build this business as big as they want to.
We spend nothing on marketing.
Right. Yeah. I've spent $0 on marketing. It's all free on social media, folks. So for me, this was a no-brainer because I was going to use the products. And if you haven't tried the products yet, there's even several people that they're like, well, I'll just try one of the boxes out of the 10-pack. It makes sense. I'm going to save money by buying the 10-pack. So I'll just buy the 10-pack. Talk about that a little bit, Greg. And talk about leverage. Because most people that are, sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you, but I wanted you to talk about leverage, because most of us who work for someone, we have no leverage, right? The boss, the company, they have all the leverage. I want you to talk about leverage in this business.
Absolutely. So understand, folks, when I was 25 years old, I grew up poor. Gal I was married to at the time, she and I saved up $55,000 over about a 5-year period. We put that down as a down payment on a motel so we could have leverage. And if that thing didn't work, as the brilliant 25-year-olds that we were at the time, which makes me laugh now because what did we really know at 25 years old? And we bought a motel with zero motel experience. And we did it because they have leverage. 24 hours a day, those motel rooms can be rented out 7 days a week, 365 days a year. That's powerful. Folks, I did that for 23 years. In 1 year in this business, I make more money annually than that motel made me annually over 23 years. Now, I'm not saying a motel's a bad business. I'm saying this is infinitely better. I have freedom. I don't have toilets to fix. I don't have employees I gotta wonder did they show up. I don't have problems with rooms and plumbing, and it's just remodeling. I'm not trying to talk you out of buying a motel. I'm saying they don't compare. The leverage here is I get an override, Jeff gets an override, you get an override, Bob, Tom, Mike, Sue, off of everyone that you tell, hey, Mike, this product could work good for you. Take a look at it, listen to what these guys have to say. If it makes sense for you, you should do it. It's got a 90-day money back guarantee. When that person does it, you now have leverage. You now have a recurring monthly income, whether you do anything in the future or not, because you did it that 1 month and that person just chooses, wow, this got rid of my type 2 diabetes like it did for Jeff, or this reversed my neuropathy pain by 95% or more like it did for Greg. So understand the leverage you have. If you could do work today that paid you for the rest of your life and then paid your children for the rest of their life, do you think that that's worth doing? Because type 2 diabetes and insulin resistance needs to be wiped off the face of the earth. And there's such a bunch of us that are helping people do that.
Absolutely. Yeah, that and what you talked about that your kids can, that was the biggest thing for me was I've worked my whole life and didn't really have anything to leave my kids. So whether I build this to a $10,000 a month business, a $20,000 a month business, or whatever it is, when it's time for me to check out, this is a willable asset, this business. And you can pass this down to your kids, your grandkids, whoever you want to leave it to. And they can just keep drawing that paycheck every week from the business that I've built. And if they want to build on top of it, then they can just keep building right along with it. So to me,
Powerful.
that is very powerful because unless you have a huge life insurance policy or unless you have a big retirement plan that is there when you check out, what are you going to leave your kids? What is
And
the
my kids had
legacy?
no interest in a motel. Like,
Right,
we've seen you do that for 23 years, Dad. No thanks.
right.
If I say, hey, I built this thing up to tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars, you can work it or you don't have to. But hey, there's the income that comes in every month.
Yeah, that's huge. So I I guess we can open this up for questions. If anybody in here has any questions about the products or about, insulin resistance or about the business, put them in the comments because we would be happy to answer any questions we can. And while you're doing that, I'm going to show you a few more before and after photos and talk about some of these people. In fact, if Ralph, I don't know if you're on here or not. I didn't see you in the chat, but if you're on here, or Jared, somebody who has the Restream link, want to come on and just share your story real quick while we're waiting on some questions. Pop in the Restream and do that. But here are some more people that have, I mean, Nori looks 20 years younger there. Amazing.
That's another one of those people who stumbled onto me and connected with what I was saying and changed their health.
This guy had to have his thyroid removed and ended up type 2 diabetic, non-alcoholic fatty liver, low testosterone, all kinds of problems. And he's down almost 90 pounds now. So
Incredible.
are there anybody that has any questions? I don't see any questions coming in.
Read off some of those comments there, and if you know any of these people specifically, I see Wayne Dunn. I don't know Wayne, but he says down 25 pounds in 3 months and off all prescription medications. You understand what's happening there, folks? I don't know Wayne, but if I wouldn't have started telling people about my results, Wayne wouldn't have found out, because it all trickled from somebody to, I would say to Jeff, and
Yeah.
then to somebody, and eventually Wayne.
Yeah. So Wayne found the protocol through Jared Hoops. Yes. Arlie says she's down 31 pounds. Inflammation in my joints is gone. My energy levels are higher. Went from a 3X to an extra large shirt. That's awesome.
Way to go,
Let's
Arlie.
see here. Dennis Crowder. I'll just show this on the screen. Says, put MS in remission. I'm reversing kidney failure, 87 pounds down. I don't know why. There we go. 87 pounds down. Edema is gone. No swelling anywhere. Off of 8 medications out of his 11 that he was on.
Way to go, Dennis Crowder.
I mean, it's a game changer, folks. I don't know how else to say it.
And before that, Dennis said, my last box before I became a partner was down to $80. So you start at $159 plus tax in the United States. So he basically cut it in half because of referral, $10 referral store credits he was getting from telling people.
Yeah,
Way
absolutely.
to go, Dennis.
All right, Greg, I'm not seeing any questions come in at all. I would just say, folks, if this is something that you're interested in, whether it's the product or the business side of this, if you want to have a more one-on-one conversation about either, reach out to the person who shared this live with you, who tagged you in it, who got you to see this presentation, whether you see it later on their page. If you pop in the comments watching the replay, just put replay in the comments. If you want someone to get in touch with you, let us know. We can see who invited you to the live and get them in contact with you and get you the information. I'll just say this: if you want to try this product, make sure you get a referral link. It's going to get you the best price available. It's going to get you the 90-day money back guarantee. You can get free shipping for life. And if you decide to do the business, these people are people that you're going to be working closely with, right? So,
and for those people who are making comments and telling their stories, whether you're a partner or whether you're a customer, understand that this is a resource. We do this every week. If you know people, you want to get them on this. You want them to be listening on this. You want to be reminding them a couple days before, and then another reminder the day before, and then another reminder, the hour before. Because the simple duplicatable method is they realize, wow, Chet didn't do anything other than told me to get on and watch these two guys, and then he got on it, and then he changed his health. That's how it spreads. A simple, duplicatable model that gets them results on the health side. And some of them decide immediately they want to help others, and some want to be on the business side, and some of them just want to help others. We're just glad to have the help. There's too many people that don't know. If nobody tells them that this is available, for example, my fiance is a nurse. She's a nurse in Brazil. She had no idea. Her mother is a type 2 diabetic. She had no idea that this was available to reverse type 2 diabetes in the United States. What's worse, she's in Brazil, but you are right here in the United States. You're right here in Canada. You're right here in the UK. The product's right here. You just got to try it for 90 days and prove that it works for you. And if you can prove that it doesn't work for you, you need to let us know, because in 3 years, nobody's proved to me that it doesn't work.
Right. Yeah. Prove us wrong. Prove us wrong. Prove to us that it doesn't work, but do it consistently.
Yeah.
That's the key to anything. So, all right, folks, if nobody has any questions, we're going to end this. It's been 45 minutes. Reach out to the person that invited you. We'd be happy to have a more one-on-one conversation with you and tell you more about it. So, all right, folks, have a great night.
Take
Thank you,
care,
Greg.
everybody. Good night.